So I've got the wheel off. Next step is I'm going to remove this tie rod end. Then I'll do the same to the other side, and then I'm going to start working on taking off the plastic underneath the car. And then I'll work on taking the clips off and then remove the pressure lines that are inside, right in through here, kind of under there a little bit, and hopefully the rack will come out. So it's very important before you start taking off tie rods to center up your steering wheel, and I did that with a bungee strap and just a weight just to keep that there. Now you can see the left side here is still a little bit rigid, but it was leaking immensely. Here on the right side it's leaking a little bit, but that ball joint is just shot in the tie rod, the inner tie rod ends, that is. So there is that knuckle. I need to loosen that bolt with the yellow and red on it. And then there's the two pressure lines going into the power steering rack there. And I believe if I take off that bolt, you can't see it, it's just in between those two lines there, it's a hex bolt. Take that off, I think those two lines might pull right out of the rack, and then loosen up that yellow and red bolt up there, and then also the two mounting bolts, and I think that rack will drop right down, and then I should have it. So here's the point that I'm at now. I have dropped the plastic cover. I'm going to take one of these lights here. So I've dropped the plastic cover here from underneath the car, which is just a couple of clips and little bolts. That's real easy to do. And then underneath here is where the mounting bolts attach to the rack. And here's one of them already taken out. And where that is right underneath. I don't know how well this is going to show up. Right there is where it's attached to. Here's those cross members in the middle of the car. And then the other bolt is right here. I still just need to take this one rest of the way out. And now that's out too. Now nothing's attached to the rack. So if I come back up underneath the car here, where we're at now is that bolt there was taken out along with that clip, and these lines are just basically stuck inside there. You just pull them straight out to take them out. And then there's another one that we already loosened up, and that one's the one that adjusts the spline. So you can see how this rack is loose now. I'll just be able to take this straight out, so that's my next step here. So once again, that clip is already out, so now I can just take these lines straight out that way. I've got my catch pan down here ready to catch anything as far as the excess runoff. Pull this other line out. Now that's taken care of. So this rack essentially should be able to pull straight out now. Have to rotate it clockwise a little bit in order just to pull it out without having to remove hoses and other things. And I think I'm going to be able to get this guy. You can see it leaking right now, right out of this boot. Our boot. I'm going to take the entire assembly out all at once now. And there it is. So I've got the old rack out, which was here. And before I took those nuts off, I counted the amount of splines, or whatever you want to call it, that were to the edge, to make sure that when I transferred it to the new rack over here, they were the exact same. Also, before I took the outer tie rods off, I counted how many turns it was before the outer tie rod came off of the spline over here. And on the left side it was 22, and on the right side it was 24. So I did that. Also, you want to see how worn this ball joint is on this side. This should be rigid, where you pick it up See how that stays straight. This one here, you pick it up. Well, now it seems to be staying straight, but before it was just, no, there you go. You see how it just drops. There's nothing to it there. Okay. And it was leaking too, so. Before I put the rack back in again, these little red plugs come out, of course. That's where the hoses go. And it wasn't really shown real well in the video, but this is the bolt that goes into here. Sorry. Bolt that goes into here, and once you take that bolt out and this bracket off, those hoses just pull straight out of this. There is no like retaining pressure thing that you got to push in to get those out. So. Well, I got out. Oh, I'm going to put it back in. Hopefully it'll be able to go in there not too terribly bad. Okay. Starting to get hung up a little bit there. Lift it up. Now comes the hard part, is getting it through here and around those hoses and in. And I gotta get in there a little bit, but what I'm gonna do is push this hose back, get this completely diagonal, push it through, and then rotate it back up into that collar that needs to attach right there. Right there. Okay. Okay, so I did get the rack rotated in and got it bolted in, and I also have that spline attached to that knuckle. That was by far the toughest part of this job. In fact, that took me about 2 hours alone just to get that spline in there, but I did eventually get it. Okay, I already plugged those 2 lines back in, and all it is just this one here and that one there. And if you can plug a lamp into an outlet, you can definitely do that pretty easily. Next, we're going to put this clamp here back in place underneath the 2 there. So here the clamp is back in place with the bolt attached. I don't remember what this torque spec was off the top of my head though. So we're just going to show on this side. I'd counted 24 times, and this nut was at 5 on the old rack, so we're going to do that the same again. So put this on here. Oops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And that just fitted just perfectly at 24. So next what I'll do is I'll tighten up this nut here, and I'll put that onto the tie rod end there, and then that should finish up the job. Take that and go. There we go. So the tie rod end is now attached again. All bolts are secure. I'm just going to put that plastic tray back on the car, and I should be ready to rebleed the lines.